So early on in my ownership of this car, I think right after I got it, I did a video about some of my favorite and least favorite things, or my biggest problems and my biggest yays about this Model 3. And the number one biggest problem that I had with it, and this remained the biggest problem that I had with it for quite some time. You know what? Before I start going any further, I'm gonna plug in my seatbelt because it's gonna pull out of my driver position and it's gonna go into easy entry and everything's gonna get messed up. Okay. My biggest problem with this car when I first got it was I was having issues with the phone key. I'm pointing at my phone because this is on my phone right now. I know that Tim Dodd, my buddy Tim, he never had any trouble with it. And when we talked about it, he was like, yeah, it works just fine for me. I walk up to the door and I just unlock it and it opens. And with me, it would work when I was at home. It worked when I was in the garage. And out in the world, it kind of worked and then it didn't work. And like if I got my phone out and so I use an iPhone, so you got the little button on the side that sort of wakes it up. I noticed that like if I woke up the phone before I got out there, it would usually work a little bit better. But otherwise, like if it was just in my pocket and I walked up to the car, it was hit and miss. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And that was a real frustration, especially when you're out somewhere, say you're at the grocery store and you got your hands full. You actually have to set your stuff down and reach in and grab your thing. And I was more, because my last car, had a key fob, just like most of them did. But, you still had to reach into your pocket. But even then, you didn't have to, like, get it out and do a thing. You just, like, reached in, and I could just press the button, and the car unlocked. And besides, you had to get the key out to run the car anyway. So you're already in the process of doing that. That was just part of getting in the car. Anyway, with this phone, on a really good day, it would just open the way it's supposed to. On a good day, I would have to, get out the phone and click the button to make the thing open. On a really bad day, I would actually have to go into the app and open it up from the app. And that was super frustrating. It was 1,000 times more difficult than just using a key fob like I was used to. So yeah, that was my biggest headache by far with this car when I first got it. And knock on fake console wood, I think that's been fixed. And I don't know why. I don't think it corresponded with any particular software update or anything. I don't think it has anything to do with an update on my phone. I never could determine whether or not it was a phone issue or a car issue. I don't know. I never could figure it out. It was a little bit of both, I guess. But no, long story short, I kind of noticed this the other day. I didn't really want to say anything because I didn't want to spoil it, but it seems to be working. It seems to have been working for a few weeks now. And I gotta say, it's nice, man. I walk up to the car and I don't have to reach in my pocket. I don't have to do anything. I just grab the doorknob and it opens like magic. And again, I wish I could tell you exactly what changed, maybe I updated the app on my phone and it fixed it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know exactly what fixed it. And I don't know exactly when it got started, but, it was just kind of something I was noticing. And in my head, I was kind of like, don't even say anything. Don't even acknowledge it, because as soon as you do, you know how Murphy's Law and all that works. But no, it's happened so much that I feel comfortable just straight up saying I think it's gotten fixed. I mean, it's gotten fixed enough to where I expect it to work more than I don't expect it to work. I used to just expect it not to work. Now I just expect it to work, and it's just working. So I'm excited about that. That means my number one issue with this car is gone away. So you might ask, what's my second biggest issue with this car? And I don't know what that would be. That's my honest answer. I don't know what is my biggest issue with the car now. Probably the radio. Probably Slacker radio. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I really wish we had Spotify in here. I call Slacker radio B-side radio, because you'll pick a song and it'll play it, and then it kind of does, it's like a Pandora thing. It sort of goes into a radio version and it plays similar songs to that. But I don't know, they play they'll play a song from Aha, right? But it's not Take On Me. It's some rando song that you've never heard in your life, and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, why would you play Aha in anything other than Take On Me, right? Like, they don't play the hits, they play the B-sides. It's really weird. So yeah, I wish it had regular Pandora. I wish it had Spotify. But I can do that with my phone, which is what I did before. It's not the biggest problem in the world. No, other than that, I think just keeping it clean is my biggest problem right now. I've really fallen behind on that. And to be honest, I'm a little nervous about. I know this sounds ridiculous, guys. This car is more than I spent on all the other cars I bought before it combined. So I'm really careful about like how I wash it and everything. And of course, I'd heard from other people that the paint, and maybe especially when you first get it, the paint's kind of soft and can scratch really easily. So I'm just wary. Like I wouldn't just take it through a drive-through with those big spinning things that just beat your car to death. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that in this car. But and I'm also just lazy. I think that's really what it comes down to. Just lazy. But I want to put something out there, and I might bring this up with the guys on the podcast. But there are these sort of like zombie myths around EVs that I've done plenty of videos on this so far, not only on this channel but on my main channel. And there's certain comments, certain responses that I just never stop getting. And I'm sure I will get some of them in the comments of this video right here. I call them zombie myths because they just never seem to die, no matter how many times you disprove them or no matter how many times you argue against them. They just never go away. But this particular one, I really want to put this out there to you guys because I know many of you do drive EVs. I know that because I've seen it in the comments and whatnot. And it's the whole charging thing. I always see these people in comments, and not just on my videos, but in articles and stuff, saying, I'll never get an EV until I can charge it in less than 10 minutes, and I can go 600 miles, right? Well, my last car couldn't go 600 miles, and it got 50 miles a gallon. It was a Volkswagen diesel. So, I mean, once again, I feel like people just put people put expectations on EVs that they just don't put on anything else, right? But the charging in 10 minutes thing, I need to be able to charge in 10 minutes. I can't sit there for an hour and charge up and everything. Here's the deal. So I've only taken a couple of large trips in this car where I needed to charge up at a supercharger. So I'm still kind of new to that. But I will say, in those trips that I've taken, it really was not an issue. It really was not the problem that I thought it would be, and I was concerned. I didn't know for sure. Like that was a big part of why. That was a big part of why I got the car. I wanted to know whether or not this stuff was true, and it has not been an issue for me. But I've noticed that these people, I shouldn't say these people, but I've noticed that people who make that argument that EVs don't charge fast enough, that they wouldn't get an EV until they could charge it up in 5 minutes or something like that. It's never EV drivers. And my own personal experience was that I didn't know for sure. Like I had heard from other EV drivers that it's not an issue, so I just kind of wanted to see for myself. And my personal experience has been that it's really not the issue that people think it is. But this is what I want to put out there. If you have an EV, or if you have an EV, if you are an EV owner, or if you have been an EV owner, is charging really that much of an issue? Or charging time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is charging time really the issue that a lot of people make it out to be? For me, it has not been. At all. And I have never heard an EV driver really complain about it. Like, really complain about it to the point that, like, I had to get rid of my EV because it was just such a problem, and that's why I really, sincerely, I'm putting this out there. If you have an EV, if you've ever owned an EV, have you ever had that much of a problem with the charging? And I mean to the point to where you regret your purchase, to the point that you go back to an ICE car or something like that. Because again, it's just something that I've noticed. The only people who ever complain about how long it takes to charge are people who don't have EVs. And in my personal experiences, once I got it and I experienced it myself, it really wasn't that big a deal. Now, I want to put the caveat out there that I am very lucky in that I own a home with a garage that I can actually park in. and I can charge up at home. I say this now, I have said this before, I will continue saying this. EVs really aren't for everyone. If you live in an apartment complex and you have to park on the street and you don't have access to a charger at your home or where you work, and you would have to actually go to like a supercharger or some kind of public charging station every time you needed to charge, yeah, it's just not there yet for you. Unfortunately, I think it's getting there, and it will get there in the next 5 years or so. I think that problem's going to go away. We're going to be seeing a lot more apartment complexes with charging stations and a lot more office buildings and parking garages. That's going to become sort of ubiquitous. But I fully acknowledge, and some EV drivers don't acknowledge this, but I fully acknowledge that EVs just aren't for everyone yet. If you have to drive very long distances on a very regular basis, might not be the best option for you right now, but I think that's going to change. So anyway, I'm putting that out there, and I'm just being honest, and I'm just kind of putting that caveat. But again, I want to put this out there for any EV owners. I sincerely want to know, has the length of time for charging been an issue for you, a significant enough issue to make you either regret your decision or go back to an ICE car? Because I have yet to meet somebody that's told me that that's the case. But that doesn't mean they're not out there. So I'm asking. I want to know. Anyway, just wanted to put that out. Haven't done a video on my car lately, so I thought I would do one in here while I was out. And I'm getting back on the writing for the video. I got to get home and get back to work. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. 3 days in a row, guys. I'm on a roll here. Have a good one. I will see you here. I got a video coming out tomorrow on the other channel, and I got this video coming out right now. So I hope you all are doing okay. I will talk to you soon. Bye.